Hey guys, welcome back to Holistic Homesteading with the Hurst. I'm Megan, and today I have some friends that I'm going to introduce you to. They have currently been living on our property in their camper for a few days, and I want to show you, or I want them to tell you their story. It's pretty awesome how God has moved them from Texas to Tennessee, and they're not 100% sure where they're going to end up yet, but I want them to tell you their story of moving out of their suburban life into a camper and how that has been going, what they've done to remodel their camper so that it's livable for them and their two kids, and then also what God has in store for them. So let me introduce you to them.
Hi, I'm Josh Bradley.
And I'm Kallie.
This is our RV.
Yeah.
So,
and we have two kids, Hudson and Ellie, who live with us in our RV, and then one on the way.
due September 15th, so that will be fun. Yes, we decided to move into an RV because we didn't know exactly where we were going to be, and we didn't want to just pick a spot and rent and have to move all our stuff and everything like this. So this was a way where we could just go and visit family and then check out different areas and see where the Lord was leading and see what opened up, and then be able to plop down for a place for a while and get a feel for the area.
Yeah, and the Lord has been working in our hearts really since we got married, molding and shaping us and preparing us for this time being in an RV. And right now we're pursuing homesteading and looking for just a place to live where we can have land and animals and garden and all of that. And this RV is kind of serving as a bridge to get to that point. We moved from Texas. We lived in the suburbs of Dallas in a home, and it wasn't a big home. We always joked about how it was really small. It was like 1,400 square feet, and we always joked about how we lived in a tiny house, and then jokes on us, we live in an RV now.
It's like 220 square feet. So.
Yeah. But yeah, we sold our house. Josh quit his job. We sold probably 90%, either sold or got rid of 90% of our possessions, and brought only what we really loved and really needed here. We don't know where we'll be in 6 months or even in 2 weeks, but we know we're pursuing the Lord on this journey, and we're excited wherever that takes us. Yeah.
And so far it's been neat to see how he's led just to South Carolina to visit family, and that ended up being at just the perfect, divinely orchestrated moment for us to help out at a time with my grandpa and some different things like that. So nobody knew, it was unexpected, ended up going to hospital for a while. So it's been very neat to see how the Lord's working, and also stressful because it's never fully planned out, but it's been, it's very cool, and you meet the cool people along the way, and just living life and seeking the Lord through it all.
Mm-hmm. And we've been very challenged, I think personally too, on this journey, because we've been traveling and been the guests for the past 2 months at different places, and we've been just encountered with so much generosity and hospitality and just kindness, which has been a good challenge for us to extend that back to others, even in our tiny space. So
So downsizing has been both fun and stressful. It's fun to declutter, but it's also stressful because at the time we didn't have an RV. We were in the process of selling our house, and we sold our house before we had an RV. We didn't even know how long we would be RVing, let alone the climate. So all these decisions you're trying to make as far as what to keep, what not to keep. And then so family's been gracious, and like their little cubby holes in the attic, we've kind of squirreled our stuff in different areas.
Stuff that we were like,
don't even know what we have anymore.
Yeah.
But and of course the sentimental items we would want to hang on to. But
we probably, we got rid of all of our furniture except the rocker that I rocked my babies in and nursed them in. And we got rid of probably 90% of our stuff. We kept some sentimental stuff, like you said, in my parents' attic. But we got rid of a lot of stuff. And honestly, it was pretty easy for me. We lived in a 1,400 square house, which is pretty small. But we've always been in a process and a mindset of just keeping just as much as we need and trying not to accumulate too much. But so the first few rounds of downsizing was fun because it was that satisfying cleaning stuff out. And then it started getting trickier and harder to decide what are we going to keep, what are we going to get rid of. And then once we actually were ready to move into the RV, we even still had too much stuff. That was when it was really hard, actually, because that was the stuff that we really loved, we wanted, we held on to it. And so that was the hardest part for me, was moving into the RV and then deciding, okay, we still don't have room for all this, we have to get rid of stuff. A lot of people wonder, and so do we sometimes, how are we going to have a baby in an RV? The baby is due in September, and we have no plans of being in a house by then, so we are planning on doing, Lord willing, a midwife birth. I had dreams of doing a home birth before we sold our house, and that was something I had to kind of process through, like, if I'm not able to do that, then that's okay. So we can do a birth in the RV, don't know if we will or not, but we have that Moses basket that we were given by some really super generous friends in South Carolina, and so that's really nice to have a space for the baby to sleep during the day, and then at night too, if we need the baby to come in our bed, we can. Once the baby's bigger, I'm sure we have a pack and play, so we could put that in the kids' room and they can all sleep in the same room, but it'll be a lot of just learning by experience and figuring it out as we go, and just being flexible, I think, as you have to be with a baby anyways, but especially in a small space. So yeah, we'll see.
So as far as moving forward and what our overarching plans, we have a desire to be on land, and we don't know the timeline as far as when that will be, and we don't know, the acreage or whether there'll be totally undeveloped land or if it will have sewage and power, and we're still kind of working through those and weighing the pros and cons. But the biggest thing is sometimes I can overanalyze things when it's totally open-ended. Like, we had a blank slate. It could be anywhere in the U.S. almost, and so we had a couple of states we narrowed off right off the bat, but then other ones, it's like, how do we make a decision? And then we were pregnant, and so that kind of was the Lord's way of saying, well, the reality is you need a job, you need a midwife, and you need a place to settle down. So when those three meet the criteria are met, then that will probably where we will be and start shopping for land in the area. So it was actually a gracious thing, even though it was stressful. It was just how the Lord orchestrated that to, I guess, get us outside of our heads and start moving forward.
Yeah, and honestly, this whole process has been so backwards in so many ways, I feel like. We felt the Lord leading to do homesteading, but we didn't just go straight from living in our house to moving on to a farm. It's been this big, long process, and we've done so many steps out of order. I feel like selling our house before you quit your
Quitting job, selling house,
then we sold our house,
buying RV, and then finding a truck.
Yeah, it's just been all crazy, and we don't know where we're going to be or where the Lord will take us, but it's been a huge faith journey for us both, and it's been really terrifying sometimes. But I feel like with each step that the Lord's given us and that we've taken, it's gotten a little bit easier to know, like, we don't know what we're going to be doing in 2 weeks from now, but we're not really scared of that anymore. We're just taking it day by day and knowing the Lord will walk us where we need to be. So yeah, homesteading's the dream. Who knows when or where that will happen. But so we started a blog to kind of just journal about our journey and keep people updated. So if you want to follow along, it's called bradleyadventures.com, and that's probably the best way to keep in touch and keep up to date with our journey. Welcome to our home. It's very tiny, but it works for what we need. So you're standing in the multi-purpose room, really. The kitchen is right here, and then behind us is the living room / Josh and I's bedroom, and then our dining room is over in the corner. So this whole thing, actually, when we travel, it slides in, which makes the space very, very tiny. And then when it slides out, it's like a breath of fresh air, which is super nice. And then if you go this way, you'll see this is where the kids sleep. This actually was the master bedroom when we bought the RV. It had a big queen bed that came out all the way, and Josh took that out and redid it. He built this handrail for the kids and put this ladder in for them, and they just both sleep in this twin bed. They actually sleep like this right now. I don't know why, but they just like it like that. And so this is where they sleep. We decided
to put them in here versus have them in the main part of the area or in the RV so that we can have access to the kitchen and the living room and the bathroom while they're asleep at night. So it works out really well, and they have a door that they can close at night, and they have a sound machine, and it works really well. So then if you go to the back of the RV, you'll find this is kind of our little study space, just like alone personal time space / storage. This actually used to be 2 bunk beds right here, which is super common in this style travel trailer, but we decided to take them out and get more floor space and more like multi-purpose space. Everything in an RV needs like 12 different purposes for it to stay. So we got rid of the beds and we just put in that little desk and this baby bed. I don't know if it'll stay there or not when baby comes, but for now it works there. Yeah, and then we have our little teeny tiny bathroom, but it works great. It has a shower / tub, so the kids actually can take a bath in there if they want, which is kind of fun. I mean, there are a lot of little things we did throughout the RV to make it more functional for our family. The bathroom used to have like a medicine cabinet mirror type thing, and we tore it out because it just was not functional or stylish, and so we tore it out and got a different mirror that we could put all our oils on, and it works much better for us. Okay, so in the kitchen we redid some stuff but not everything. So actually before it had this cabinet, and you can kind of see on the ceiling where it came out to, but it came really far out, and we just felt like while we were standing at the dish or at the sink doing dishes, it just felt really in your face. It blocked a lot of the light from the front door. It just made it really dark in here, and so we ripped that cabinet out. It's very controversial when you talk about ripping cabinets out of an RV. There's 2 schools of thought. One side says rip them all out, one side says keep them all in for storage. So we kind of went with half and half, but we ripped this cabinet out, and Josh put in these shelves for me where we store all of our like pretty dishes. And then we ended up leaving this in. It actually used to be microwave. This door was not there, and it was just the face of a microwave. And we decided we didn't really use our microwave in our house, and we didn't really want to use one here, so we took it out. And this door actually used to be the bathroom door for the medicine cabinet. We painted it. It was a mirror, and we just painted over it and turned it sideways, and it fit perfectly to cover up that. So, and then Josh, this is my favorite part of the RV, Josh did all this shiplap for us. It's in the kitchen and then in the kids' bedroom as well. And it's just plywood that he painted and then cut and nailed up. Our bed situation is not what we want it to be for the long term, but for now it works. When we bought the RV, the setup was a like couch that pulled out into a twin size bed, and then the dinette was actually a U shape, and so both sides mirrored each other. We decided for our purposes to get a bigger bed in here. We took out one side of the dinette, and right now we literally just have a futon mattress on the floor that we slide out during nighttime, and then we put it back during the day. Eventually we would like to build a bed. We just have not had the motivation or the time to do so yet, but that's our long-term vision, is to build a bed. And also, while we're over here, this too, it used to be covered with like green floral, I don't even know what decade, but just old fabric, and so we took it all down, and eventually this is one of our next projects, but we want to put like a wooden beam here and then just cover the side with white wood to give it the look of having the wooden beam on the ceiling. Okay, so right here we have we actually have a like speaker system that has built-in speakers like all throughout the RV and outside the RV too. It's kind of funny. And it has a subwoofer, like just things you would not expect in an RV. But used to, when we bought the RV, it had a TV right here. And Josh and I have never owned a TV in our whole marriage. And so, and there's nothing wrong with having a TV, we just have never wanted one. And so when we got the RV, in my mind I thought we were going to take the TV out. But Josh was like, oh, it'd be fun to do like movie nights or something with the kids every once in a while. Anyways, we were really divided and we could not come to an agreement. So finally Josh was like, let's just play rock, paper, scissors and see what happens. And I never, ever win when we play rock, paper, scissors, but I won this time and he took the TV out because I won. And I love the space now. He does too. And we're glad we don't have a TV there, but it's just nice to have a blank space. It's just visually, it's much nicer than having a big old black TV on the wall. So. Okay, so a lot of people ask, where do we store stuff? How do we fit everything? Step one, we got rid of a ton of stuff. But getting creative and just making it work is like the biggest thing. So this is my closet. This is literally all of my clothes are in here. And it's not very organized right now, but I have 2 baskets underneath that store like PJs and stuff like that. But as far as hanging clothes, that's all I have. And then Josh's closet is over here, and it was shorter, so we couldn't fit like hanging clothes in there, and so it's literally just all his stuff is folded. And he has that cabinet, and then this cabinet as well, like again, just crammed in. So the other thing that people ask all the time is, where do we store all our kitchen stuff? Again, we downsized a lot, but Josh actually, so this was already like this. This is our pantry, both sides. This looked like this when we bought the RV. This side had this shelf, and Josh, oh no, it didn't actually. It didn't have either of these. Josh added both of these shelves in. We got this piece of wood from another shelf that we had taken out. And so it is functional, it works for us, and we just can't have like as much stuff stored for the long term. We just have what we need and then have to go to the store more often. So there's a lot of pots and pans stored under here, and nested, and like our silverware and stuff is in this drawer, and then we have another drawer that has kind of utensils and kitchen towels and Pyrex and stuff. But yeah, it all works. Again, we just had to get rid of a lot of stuff and get down to what we really needed and what we really loved. And then we just made it work and found a place for everything. Edit that out. Okay.